Folks, welcome to another episode. Farmer James, Mountainside Beekeeping, talking about my bees, talking about the green mountains and the trees. Welcome back, folks. Celebrating, drinking some homemade mead. Celebrating because got lucky. Those Walk-A-Way splits I made with that hive right there. That you remember in the last episode, I had said that one hive was just a bunch of bees. So I'm celebrating because I discovered an open mated queen already laying. So yes, folks, just celebrating, because it's good. It's a good feeling to know that my idea of making those splits, because this hive right there is the mother of this daughter hive. So, salute, homemade mead. Some of last year's dead outs, folks, use some of that crystallized honey. It's one way to not really, let's say, not feel good and feel kind of down that you lost bees, but also celebrate, and learning a way to use some of the goodness. So, salute, cheers. Wow, yes. Farmer James's fresh backyard honey mead from Farmer James's Honey. But yes, folks, really has some good luck. If you haven't been following me, please subscribe, like, leave your comments. And if you have, you've seen my bee yard grow from 5 to, in the beginning in the spring, to now what you see. Okay. Most of the front row, all right, are basically bees that survived the winter. And if you have been following me, or if you haven't, welcome again to Farmer James Mountainside Beekeeping, where I'm talking a lot about how to be successful using a lot of the science, losing a lot of the, what is now coined Darwinian methods of beekeeping. So I'm a natural beekeeper using IPM methods, sciences, so forth. And if you want to, go backwards, and you'll see a lot of the videos where I talk about what I have done, what I'm doing, and what I'm continuing to try to do with these bees. And mostly I focus on mountainside beekeeping in ways to do it naturally. This meat is so good. And the recipe I'm using is from one of the best mead recipes that won, or I think, a world-class mead contest. So the recipe is very good. It's just racking. This time I did not use any bentonite to get clarity. You can use that if people know about me making your wines, bentonite, so forth. So anyway, just leaving it rough and nice, and it really is a really good taste. So yes, I'm celebrating because I had I would say more than 75% luck with my open mating, walk-away splits, so to speak, and using queen cells also, and placing them in the small nukes and getting luck with open mated queens. So I now have at least, out of what I did start with the open mated, 7 that are laying very strong, and one thing I should have took a picture of, and my queen that lives in the house over there. Okay, so my queen who lives over there, said, "Hey, Farmer James, or James, why didn't you take a picture of this crazy, unusual phenomena?" So, yeah, one of my walk-away splits, I go to check it to see what's going on, because I'm like, I don't see anything happening, but a lot of bees happening. And then I'm like, well, are bees going underneath the pallet that the hive was on. Lo and behold, laying underneath the screen that the boxes were on. I don't know how. I wish I had a picture, because a picture is 1,000 words. Seeing is believing. But yes, the queen was laying underneath the bottom screen board. Leave your comments. Let me know how that's happened, if it's ever happened to you, because it was a phenomenon that I've never, ever seen. But salute. Queens are hardy. All right. These queens are hardy. These open bees, which are mountain bees, Russian carniolan mutts, and pure carniolans, because there was, as I learned, I believe I met my goal, and that goal is to have an abundance of healthy drones. And if you follow me, you have, in the last episode, I shared with you what I use when I do my inspections. And let me go backwards, because I do not give the protein blends to the overwinter colonies, because their resource gathering, they're used to, they know the area very, very well. So they built up without any issues. I did at one inspection give them that little measurement I told you about of the ultra bee pollen. Unlike some other beekeepers where they just leave it out for the bees to find, I rather just pour it right onto the colony, just because, again, just like this day to day. And by the way, happy 4th of July. Salute. Celebrate safely with all your loved ones. 4th of July, but it's cloudy, it's rainy, it's wet. And that's been the way it's been, folks. So it's been hard for me to inspect, videotape, show you the work I'm doing. But I tell you, these bees in the front row, okay, they have been a pain in the derriere. That one on the end that used to be these two in height, that one I made 4 nukes. 4 nukes full of queen cells. Okay, so this one right here, that one right there, up. Let me get better. Okay, so yeah, that one that's all the way over, yep, over there. So yeah, right there. Okay, that hive right there. Yeah, the reason it is that small, because it was ready to swarm. And today I had a bunch of kids come here. A friend brought his grandkids over with his daughter and so forth, so I showed them what was about to be an emerging queen. One of the queen cells I cut out of that frame. I decided to look at it to see how close I was to losing those bees. All right. And lo and behold, by showing and opening that cell in front of everyone that visited, because I out do backyard tours. If you want a tour, email, let me know. Farmer James up here in Vermont, talking about mountainside beekeeping. So, looking in that queen cell, lo and behold, was a blue-eyed, ready to come out queen. Okay. And I was like, wow, that's how close. It was about to swarm, and there were swarm cells all over. And the reason I left that box there is because, all right, it's because that top deep, that bottom deep, actually, I did a checkerboarding, okay? So that hive basically still has that queen with fresh eggs, larvae in all stages, and brood. So she's still very fat and laying very well. Next video, with the help of a buddy, I'm going to show you all those mated queens that have been open mated, because they are beautiful. They are fat. They are showing me the colors of the Russian mutt blend. Or some of the carniolans that I've seen that are, brown with the dark brown bands, not the very black carniolans, which I ordered a lot from Oliver Rise. And yes, I stupidly opened one of those queens I ordered from Oliver Rise, and I placed in. Well, what I did was open the cork. All right. Opened the wrong end. I didn't open the fondant end. The queen came out. I grabbed her, but I grabbed her too fast because I was too excited and anxious because it's $40. And I was like, ah. So I think I killed that queen because out of all of these 5-frame nukes that are in the back row over there, okay, all of those are doing very well, including this one that's right up here in the front row. So that one 5-frame nuke in the front row over there, yep, that one is doing very well. So I'm very happy because all of these nukes in that back row, the second row, in that second row, they're all doing quite well. I'm actually going to have to transfer those into 8-frame boxes because the idea I came up with starting out, like I said, because we're in Vermont, we need at least 3 frames of solid brood with those mated queens or any splits or nukes that you want to start. Because the bees are ready for fall, and so am I, in the sense that I'm preparing the colonies for winter right now. So in Vermont, you really need to worry about planting this seed in your brain to get ready to get your bees ready, not just for the honey flow, but for the long winter months. So I'm getting the bees ready, and it's been not the best summer so far, but it's been a good summer overall. Just because the weather has not been our friend, the weather has been really, really a small pain in the derriere. Okay. Yep. So cheers to the weather. It's been good overall in many ways, but in some ways, just not great. All right. But right now in the yard is filling up where the package bees, they are in the double nukes and they're doing their thing. Way in the back, you might, I'll go around and I'll show you how they've, there's a roller coaster and how the queens are building up because some of the queens, those carniolans, are building up based on the flow. And if you know me, folk, I tripped probably over something again. So anyway, the carniolans build up on the flow, and the flow has been up and down. So that means some of the carniolan queens are laying better than the others because of whatever those traits are that basically keep them with building up on the flow or slowing down. So that's one way of mite control and brood breaks because they brood break on their own. So that's a form of IPM. You can put it in your toolbox, and that is another natural way of keeping your bees in the mite control. So that's what I do use in my toolbox with essential oils and other things in my toolbox to keep the bees and the traits of the genetics that live with mites that are mite tolerant. Okay, I don't focus on mite resistance. The science has proven that we don't really have resistance mites. Otherwise, we wouldn't have lost over 1 million bees because of colony collapse disorder or, mite tolerant bees. Miticide tolerant bees. That's it, not bees that are tolerant to mites. So anyway, I have mite tolerant bees so they know how to live with the varroa mite, the varroa destructor, and I do other things in my toolbox. So brood breaks, also a lot of splits. And that's why my apiary has grown tremendously. And also I'm happy about that because I need bees. I need bees. And yes, I need more bees because not only for honey, but also because I need a really good stock of bees for breeding in my bee yard for when I start to sell queens. So that's what I'm trying to do is build up a lot of the bees that I need in my bee yard so that I could have the queens. If a lot of these bees make it through the winter, I'm hoping at least 80%, if not 90%, And most of this second row are bees that are the splits and are the queens I just got. So those bees are growing pretty well, and I should show you a little bit better. Probably I'll go on the other side. But anyway, I have those queens in the second row, and you could probably see a little bit better. Those queens are doing pretty good. All right, I did use that one, and like I said, I think I touched her, and I shouldn't have because I grabbed her too fast out of anxiety of her coming out the wrong end because of what I did incorrectly. So, in lieu of that, these package bees here, or you see in this maze of color, are growing pretty well, but they are so, like I said, folks, they are choosing to grow at their own rate. So that's put a little bit of challenge in how to manage them. So you might see some boxes are taller than others and others are shorter, et cetera, et cetera. That's because of how the queen, excuse me, wow, happy mead. Yes. Okay, fun times, celebrating. Good job. I'm not sure, but anyway, a lot of bees. So, and also over there are those splits, and they're growing. And I do have one or two duds out of that row. So one dud, and I just realized that. So I got a queen coming that's mated. Because the other open mated queens that I started are okay down in that row where you got the pro nukes, etc. So they're doing good, but all I can do is say, again, like what I'm saying, subscribe, let me know what's going on in your neck of the woods. I'm just trying to share with you what's going on in Vermont. It's thundering again. So I'm trying to finish this before the rain hits me in my face, before the clouds hit us all in the face, because it's coming. The thunder is coming pretty fast. So I'm trying to talk clear. I'm trying to let you know, trying to show you how the apiary has grown and how the bees are doing, as well as my garden where the bees are, the corn and all that fun stuff. So soon we're going to have an issue with the bees trying to figure out what to do as the corn gets past, and we won't really be able to see them. I have to hold the video camera up here. Again, it's Farmer James from Outside Beekeeping. Like, subscribe, let me know, comment, leave your comments. Hey, let me know what you think about what I've done so far with my honeybees that are zigging over my head to get to that nectar that is all over the place. It's all over in the trees. And man, they're bringing in the pollen as well. And I tell you what, the bees are growing. The apiary is growing. I'm getting more queens because I'm trying to meet my quota of 50 colonies in various stages. So I'm trying to get to that quota, and I'm trying to do it as best as I can. I'm trying to do it using all natural methods the best way I can. I do want to show you some of the way I go into the hive, but a lot of you beekeepers already know how to go into the hive. You know basically what you're going to be seeing. And these rows each have a dedicated week where I'm going into each row, and each row has their own inspection. And next video, I will probably show you how I go into the hives and manage bees, as well as I've been placing white tape on the lids and writing on that white tape so that it's not fading in this hot sun, because the sun has been really, really hot and I'm not liking it. I am not loving it, okay? And that's really what I am trying to say is the bees are working in hot weather, but the rainy weather is not helping, okay? Meat is so good. Farmer James meat. the natural way with Farmer James's honey from the mountains of Vermont. Yes, folks, all of these splits I probably have right now 12 good splits, which are fat queens. They're all marked white, celebrating me in white, like the purity and epiphany, I guess the beginning of my open mated breeding pattern. I feel, based on the science that has proven it, that open mating is the best way to go, maybe, than grafting. But I will be grafting because now I have a really good yard of bees to graft and a lot of drones to build up for next year if I get these ladies through the winter. My front row crew, which are they're old ladies and some in the back row, are very, very good queens. They have laid well, they're doing well, and you can see by the height of those boxes in the rear. Those older overwintered queens are growing well. The new overwintered queens in that back row, okay, they are... Anyway, sometimes you get what you pay for, and then sometimes you get not what you pay for. Hey, Farmer James from Outside Beekeeping. I just am celebrating the day. This is all about celebrating. This is about talking about how the bees are doing now from all the work that I've done with those bees. I'm very excited and celebrating, folks. That's why you see this beverage in my hand. And this is the mead. This is the grade of the mead. Okay, that's the clarity of the mead. And the sweetness and the joy of the mead is all that I need. Love this mead. Very good honey mead. So yes, Farmer James Mountainside Beekeeping, folks. Like, subscribe, leave anything in the comments that you care to leave. Let me know your methods of beekeeping. Let me know if you want to hear more about my methodology of beekeeping. It's all natural. I try to bring in the science. I've been studying and continue studying. I write, continue writing. I have lucky friends to write columns in the newspaper, so my writing and knowledge is growing as my bee yard is growing. So yes, Farmer James Mountainside Beekeeping, folks. I appreciate you enjoying and sharing your time, because your time is not just your time, but it's shared knowledge and love of bees.